Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Episode 35. Ken, Glenn, and Anna. Let's drop that beat. Yo, what is up, everybody? It is a new month already. Halfway through the year. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you mentioned that because I was just going to say I did how many weeks do I have left in this year to hit a certain sales goal? And I was like, okay, there's 24 weeks. How should I work this out and see
Man,
how to
straight
do
to
this?
business. Where's the pleasantries? I was gonna say,
hi Ken, nice to see you.
Christmas or something. Glenn's like, I'm
funny you should mention it. I've been
America.
doing some calculations on my abacus.
Yeah, he's like, if this president wins, then I'll be able to make this much. If that president wins.
Yeah, Kenny was right on point. I was just, because I even talked to the wife, I was like, did you know that we're already, July, and then August is going to get here, and then Q4 is already here.
And then guess what? After that, September? No way. All by October?
Okay, Q4?
Yeah.
What are we talking
She's
about here?
Be present, Glenn.
I know.
Only in July.
This
right
is
now.
Business, and we're ready. But
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm trying to prepare for Q4-ish, kind of. I'm trying to see how I want to approach this. Everything's been going well this year sales-wise. I just got to keep that momentum up.
Yeah.
And sales for summer, not bad at all. I mean, I've definitely seen worse.
So, I've seen worse. Okay. Okay.
No complaints there for summer slowdown.
Yeah. Quote unquote.
Anna,
knock on
how
wood.
are you doing, Anna?
I'm good. Yeah, I think...
Do you have a life goal yet? Do you have a life goal for the rest of the year?
A life goal.
Glenn? Have you
Get a
figured out your
life.
purpose yet? The next 24 weeks, he said.
I was just telling someone earlier today, when I look at my sales, I have my own spreadsheet where I have kind of monthly summaries.
Mm-hmm.
I look at, the quantity of things that sell and the average sale price and the dollar amount of sales every day. And then across each month, I have a whole 12-month little calendar thing of all these different metrics. And I love looking at that thing. It's so fun. But yeah, it's interesting to see half of it is filled in and half of it is yet to be filled in approximately. And, I've noticed that my sales, my gross sales every month has not risen back to what it was in kind of the heyday of my store in basically the year before I moved. And yet what I have noticed is that it has become a lot more stable again. For the first time in 4 years.
It's so sporadic.
Yes, even in the really best years I've had, it was still all over the place. And so it's really interesting to see that it's kind of getting more predictable. But now I'm great, I just want to double that number or triple that number. But the fact that it's having a stable pattern at all is kind of surprising to me. I didn't really expect to see that. So I think that's encouraging. I'm a really big fan of making your store fit into your life instead of vice versa. And so, something that I'm looking at through the rest of the year is just to pay really close attention to, that I'm doing the amount of hours of work every week that I'm committing to and not going overboard with it because I want that number to be higher. I need to work smarter and not harder as much as possible and just maximize my part-time hours that I want to have ultimately so that, realistically the store is going to reflect what I get out of putting in those part-time hours, but they're going to be really effective hours. So, yeah, I've been thinking about it too.
That's good.
Kenny?
How about you, Ken? What you got?
I was gonna say 6 months till Christmas. I'm missing the
Dreaming
cold
of
already
gumdrops.
after
Sugar plums and gumdrops.
Yeah,
dreams.
I like wintertime.
Do you?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Halloween.
You can't say that. You're in El Paso.
Yeah, I know.
You can't comment on winter.
Glenn gets to use his hoodie.
I can because it's 104 today.
Okay,
So anything
fair.
that's cooler than that is good
You're
for
like,
me.
God, I love winter.
Please, anything cooler
It's like
than
60
104.
degrees in winter.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've
not
been getting a
bad.
lot. Yeah, heat wave right here in Midwest. But the last 2 days been gloomy, and today it rained
Yeah.
all day. So I was like,
Me too.
That's pretty good. Like my grass was like dying because I didn't water it or something like that. And then now like I think like okay, I think y'all be good. The grass will be good. But no, I mean I think just looking forward, I kind of agree how Glenn thought about like how do you want to approach Q4. I think this would be like the time that you can start thinking about it, and you'll have time to implement it.
Yeah.
July, August, September, kind of like the application mode. Wait, we're almost Q3 is here basically, right? Q3 is
Yeah.
here. So I would say, like looking back, I never really haven't tried to like plan or figure out what I want to do forward besides just keeping, the same thing going. I think the first 6 months was good.
Yeah.
It was for us specifically, it was less travel, which, was kind of new and different, compared to the last 2 years. But the travels we did was very impactful. That's
Right.
what I feel like. I feel like the travels this year was very intentional, not compared to the last previous years that the travels were just like you had to be there. It was more
Yeah.
of like a
Obligation.
commitment. You had to be there,
Yeah.
or pressure that I should show up here. And I feel like that the shift this year was like, okay, pick your events, pick your battles, and do well.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of like really implemented well this year. I can't complain on the sales. I think the sales have been relevant to the effort that we have put in,
Right.
which is, I would say, I think we're still getting way more sales compared to the hours or the time that we're putting in. So that's kind of like good. Even JC said like, May we were like really relaxed, we really didn't do much in our store. But not now, like, I feel like, we're trying to find a rhythm already. Rhythm, remember? It's not
Oh,
balance.
yeah.
Oh, see, I
yeah.
said
Isn't
that.
there
I
something
said it.
about
I said
that?
it. It's rhythm,
getting
right?
it.
So I think we're kind of just like getting the rhythm. This is something new and different for probably like this full in June, the whole month of June. We've been I personally have been waking up at sunrise, like
Who even are you?
7, like that.
You're
And then,
you're kicked out of the club.
This is literally the latest I'm still up. Like at 10, the
Yeah.
last 2-3 weeks, we're heading to the bedroom, brushing
Yeah.
our teeth, washing our face, kind of like like the routine of trying to get to sleep. So that's
No wonder
been
you
good.
look so beautiful.
So
Getting
like
all your
so
beauty
well
rest.
rested, So
No,
so-
seriously, sleep is so incredibly important for your
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
and your
It
entire
is, it
body
is.
and your entire being.
Sales.
Please get
Sales.
sleep.
Everything.
Yeah, the more you sleep, listen,
the more you sell,
the more you sell in your sleep.
Yeah, that's true, right? You
It
Wake
is
up and
true.
ship.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's been good. I'm falling back in love with cooking at home again. Compared to like eating outside. So that's good.
Yeah.
But also to like in June we talked about the different challenges that we were gonna do to kind of like small challenges maybe or big challenges, but more like adding certain tasks or things to do daily or building a habit in June to kind of like push us build a habit, build momentum throughout the summer. So Glenn, why don't you start and talk about how your goal of listing X amount of jerseys on eBay. Tell us about
1,000
that.
jerseys.
1,000.
Yeah.
Probably did 2,000 like this morning.
No.
Before breakfast.
Right. Then he let
Good and
himself eat
bad.
breakfast. Yeah.
the bad part was, well, it was good for another part of the business, is that which I told you guys too, is like I ended up getting some shelves or shelving for the storage unit.
Yeah.
That was more for my hats than jerseys, so that had nothing really to do with the jerseys, but I had to spend that time to get that all situated in the storage unit, and so the jerseys had to kind of sit here for a little bit and take a little break, so I couldn't take photos. I focused just purely on getting all of that done for like 2 to 3 days of just that. No whatnot, no nothing, just that. And I got that done. And so now I can, get the rest. And then I switched to bins for the current jerseys that I have listed. Just because I had them in like a super thick box, or these boxes that I got. And now I just wanted them to be covered in the bins. So I moved those. They're nice and safe. And now I separated which ones need to be listed. So now they're just kind of like in the queue, ready to go. As far as listing goes, I've still done the same. I'm at about like 4 per day, and that's not going to cut it if I'm going to get to 1,000. I know that. So I got to bump that up to at least like 10 a day or something. But sales, like I said, have been great. So I need to get those listed, but the good thing is right now impressions are up 41%.
Oh.
I'm up to 7.4 million on impressions. Sales are up 55% from the last 31 days. I'm at 22K. That negative feedback, which we talked about before the show.
You're up one negative feedback.
I'm up one negative feedback. And I have 49.9 million more on my 50 million limit for the month.
Limit, man. You're really working
Thank
on that limit,
goodness. Oh, thank goodness. That's hilarious.
No, that's my update right now.
Interesting.
That is cool. Well, I'll go next.
Yeah, go for it.
So June was my personal declaring month. It started hot. I started really hot. And we were doing it every day, filming it. And I guess after the update, it just started slowing down because it's a lot harder than
it's hard to find and list 5 items a day.
No, it's more of like filming it too at the same time and editing it, and then while at the same time also too, that's what's happening in June is JC deleted all our goat listings.
Oh, really?
And because it's so hard to kind of re-edit it and stuff like that, so she just deleted everything and just start listing everything from scratch. And then now she's going section by section. Now she's kind of like, going by brand, like all Converse, all Adidas, all. So she's almost to Nike, because Nike we have the most, so we left that for the last. So she's been listing that. At the same time, I feel like I'm bugging her, like, hey babe, can you film me to do this? And so it's good. Like, update's good. We sold 14 items already. On the update video, and I've sold more after that.
Yeah.
It's like $1,100 dollars. Yeah. So that was cool. Actually also today I sold something that I bought on eBay for $200 that I sold for $350.
Nice.
And it was some Kobe's that I wore a little bit, and I was like, newer Kobe's are coming up, and they're cheaper now, so there's no point of holding more expensive Kobe's older. So that sold. I was like, so now I'm kind of like in that mood of like just getting rid of stuff, which is good to have, especially if you're a sneakerhead or you like sportswear and you're in a business. So it's kind of like, I'm keeping that. So we're trying to. I'm finding a lot of stuff that I own that still had tags. That I said like, that's a good deal. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Oh, there's 3. I'll keep one. Right.
Right.
So, but I never really got into to wear it. I sold my. I think you have one, Glen, up tempo shorts, the Air up tempo. No, you have
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Where did we buy that somewhere in Chicago or somewhere?
I think so. Yeah, I remember
It was
getting
in
those.
a hustle, right?
Yeah.
Mine, I never pulled tags. It's so new, and I sold it for $80.
Nice. Yeah, they're heavy shorts too.
Yeah, they're heavy. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like that was like I sold it. I was listing it for 120, and then the guy offered me 80. I was like, "You're kidding me!" I saw that automatic payment. Like, you're kidding me.
Okay, still requesting that isolated soundbite. Thank you.
Okay,
I need
gotta
it for
get
my
that one.
purposes.
We got. I just marked it. I just,
Perfect.
Got it.
so that's been good. And I think like slowly but surely we're trying to build like small incremental habits that we want to keep for long. So I think that's where we're at. As far as that, but it's good. It's been good. June's been pretty good. And I think it's gonna start going up from here.
Nice. Yeah, so my challenge, my trust the process, was about sourcing, and there were a couple of kind of I don't want to say barriers, but kind of obstacles, I guess, like with this challenge. One was that I just purged this huge amount of my inventory. I mean, relative to the amount that I have total, it was a pretty small amount, but it was 1,500 items, which is a lot of stuff. So I was really enjoying like having the space, but the whole point was making space for
newer
better
stuff, right?
stuff. Yeah. And so just dealing with all of that and continuing to dial in like my storage area and stuff in the e-basement, like I had been sourcing here and there, but I just hadn't been consistent about it because I was more focused on getting stuff out, right? So this was like trying to jumpstart a regular sourcing habit again, and it worked really well, actually. My goal was to source 3 times a week, and that could, be anything that counted as sourcing. And so I think I was able to do it every week, one way or the other, 3 times. And so I'm counting right now how many different places I sourced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different places across like 4 weeks. So a couple of them were repeat places that I love to source all the time as much as I can. And there was actually one place that I went to check out that was a new source, and I didn't buy anything, and it was not a good source, and I will not go back. So I was like, well, now we know. Yeah, that's right. So, that just goes to show like that's valuable too, to just get there and check it out so that you're not like, oh yeah, I pass this place all the time and I never know if it's worth stopping. So now I know for sure. But I dug into my kind of listing numbers based on the items I sourced from all those places, and the result of like 4 weeks of sourcing 3 times a week was 78 items that I listed. I spent about $400 on those 78 items, which, if you know my usual cost of goods, that is like 5 or 6 times higher than the usual cost of goods for me. So I spent about $5 an item on average. And, there were still things that I got for a quarter, but there were other things I paid like $20 for. So it really, truly did like average, there's a wide range to average there. But my total like list price, top dollar list price for those 78 items is $3,267. So hopefully we're turning $400 into that. And the average like list price, again, average, right, is $42. So I want my ASP to be going up. Yeah, yep. But that's already a lot higher than what my average sale price is right now. So we're on the right track there. So there was even one week where I was super busy, had family in town from another state, and wanted to spend as much time as I could with them. And so one of the times I was like, oh man, it's about to be the new week. Like, I need to source one more time. I'm going to go purge my closet. So I sourced at my own house that time. Yeah, and I definitely found some stuff that I had totally forgotten about that was great for my store. So that was great. And yeah, just to speak a little bit more to the inventory, largely clothing. I am sort of focusing on pre-loved clothing right now because I'm part of the pre-loved partner program on eBay, and that's a super cool opportunity. And I really do love keeping like awesome functional clothing out of the landfill and stuff. So clothing waste is a huge problem, and there's so much cool stuff that literally just goes into the trash. So I like to look through clothing, but so I would say that was my biggest category for these 78 items. Also had a lot of housewares, some toys, some accessories like hats and belts and things like that, and then a few pairs of shoes as well. So that was kind of like how my challenge went. It's going really well, and I really want to keep it up because I have been able to kind of process that stuff more quickly than I was before too, because I have a new-ish contractor doing photography for me. And so she, spent maybe like 10 hours. She was training and stuff some of the time, but she spent about 10 hours with me so far, and we've gotten everything listed. So wow, that's been pretty effective. Good. Yeah. And I also was able to buy out one of my consignment clients. I'm trying to like little by little kind of like close the chapter of consignment, and I have like a few like lingering clients with several things still in the store, or in some cases a lot of things still in the store, that I'm just gonna like buy them out at a bulk cost and just be done with it, and then it's just regular inventory in my store from that point forward, because I just don't want to manage it. Like I was saying before, at some point, like I need to learn from consignment chats how to do consignment the best way, because I feel like I just kind of wung it, and I don't really I didn't love the experience. Like it was fine, but I don't know.
But now you have your inventory, you know how to get more inventory.
Right. And like that's the thing. Like I just prefer, it's just like more streamlined for me to just do it, So I sometimes, like even a couple of times since I decided I was not going to do more like consignment going forward, I've had a couple opportunities where someone has said like, hey, could you sell this for me on eBay? And I'm like, I'll just buy it from you. Like I would give you this much for it and just buy it, and you could just make more than you'd make at a yard sale and move on with your life, and I'll just buy it and move on with my life. And they're like, that's great. I just want to get rid of it. So
moving along.
Yeah. So
keep it running.
For some people, consignment is their whole business model. It's totally their jam. It so far hasn't been mine, but also I haven't ever consigned like super duper valuable inventory either. It's like a lot of bread and butter stuff. So that kind of stuff, I'm like, I can just do that myself. There's plenty of that for me to just do on my own. So anyway, that's kind of my update. But I think in the spirit of, like I love what you guys were saying in the beginning of this episode about looking to the second half of the year and considering your pacing and your momentum, and even just like pausing to ask the question, like, where do I want to go from here? Like, is this a good pace that I'm at? Do I want to increase it? Do I want to decrease it? Do I want to maintain it? Like, I think we get so ingrained in our process, sometimes ingrained in our grind, that we don't even stop and ask that. We're just like, well, of course I want to do more. And it's like, well, maybe we should just pause and consider that. So, one thing that I think a lot of people do when sales are slow is they source more. And of course, like in my world, summer is the time of like yard sales and rummage sales, and kind of a little bit more so than other seasons of the year. So a lot of people are out there sourcing, and I think there's a lot that we could do just to give some actionable insights about what are the sourcing tips that we have that work for us. So if you're working on, looking for better inventory, but fewer inventory like I am, or if you're working towards, bulking up your numbers of volume in your store, like whatever it is, like how can we help people to source better over the summer?
I mean, I think I can go first. I think this is where, just some going back to the basics, kind of like that was kind of like the theme of what I did. Like we say this so easily to newbies, like find something around your house to sell, right? And if you've been in the business for so long, especially retail, wholesale retail, there are a bunch of inventory that you've decided to keep, that you've decided to put to the side, maybe for later. Oh, this is,
you've delayed the decision.
Right, you delayed the decision.
Yes.
It's kind of like, did you really buy this for inventory or is it for you, right? Or,
Right. Did you make yourself
kinda
a
like-
decision fatigue death pile?
Yeah,
Yes, you
yeah.
did.
It's like, okay, whatever, I'll just buy it, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. My biggest advice really is to go through all of your stuff.
Yeah.
A perfect example was the Rode wireless microphone that I sold for $179. I paid $220 for it, and I literally used it once because it was an extra when we were live streaming a lot with Whatnot before.
Oh.
And I found out I have two other wireless microphone that I can use, and I've been using because I only need one. I don't need 2-3 backups. That was kind of a certain instance of that $180 literally was like chilling on my pegboard.
Right.
And and I opened the box, all the cables were still tied together because it was backed up. And I think that experiment of 10 days listing, 1,100 back to my pocket that I could reinvest on inventory or just sit there for a better opportunity later. I think we all have around $5,000 laying around our house that we don't use, that we can sell, that we won't be heavily affected or we won't miss.
Yeah.
So, especially like sneakerheads, if you like fashion too as well, right? Like we all have 5-10 different jackets that we think we want to wear, or plus minus. Also, what I've discovered with my pants is I usually would buy a medium or a large, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm a medium today, maybe I'm a large tomorrow. Or I was like, oh, I might be a medium later, but I'll just keep the medium. I'll keep rocking the large. So I start finding those things, because like when you're out and about finding good deals, you cannot help but finding good deals for yourself. So that is definitely I would say the downside of being a reseller, especially in fashion, because you like to wear stuff, you know what's good, and you know what they usually go for. And it's like, wait, it's $30, and these retail for $250.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice closet piece. But also too, we have to remember, like anything else, that over time our tastes change, our style change. Also, like, we find better stuff. I think that's one of the things that we forget, that if we keep doing what we're doing, we will eventually keep finding better and better and better stuff.
Right.
So my biggest sourcing tip is, I would say challenge yourself to at least find $3,000 worth of listed items around your house. I sold JC's old iPhone 6S. It was collecting dust. iPhone 6S,
That's pretty old.
that's pretty old, bro. Like, we're at iPhone 16's coming up this year, right? So it's like 10 generations back. We sold it for $50. And I'm like,
All right.
like, the feeling of like opening up a junk drawer and picking $50 up, it's so
Right.
But I think sometimes we don't value the simple things that our skill, that all of us have the skill of selling, but it's just little this and that. Like some old microphones, my first Rode microphone 10 years ago sold for $20.
Yeah.
And I would be happy to find $20 in my shorts pocket, randomly, but it's just all sitting there. So I think that's kind of like, I'm a little bit more excited and passionate and telling everybody, it's like, look, economy is not the best right now. Money might not be the greatest right now, but we all have some junk stuff laying around that we can sell for money. And they're not just dollar items, because like, I assure you, if I had a garage sale, I wouldn't be getting that kind of money.
No way.
Right? Like, no
No
way
way.
somebody's going to pay $20 for an old microphone, right? Somebody's probably going to offer me $2. Some garage sailors,
Garage sale prices
Glen
belong in garage
lowball
sales.
me $2 for a hat. I literally sold a hat literally tonight for $23.
Yeah.
There we go.
So There you
Yeah,
go.
this
So
is
that's
this is how I
sourcing
find
tip.
stuff all the time for a quarter that I'll sell for like 20-25 bucks. It's awesome.
Right, yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
a lot
'cause-
of people, I mean us included, like we're no like geniuses over here,
Mhm.
but I mean, I won't speak for you guys. You're probably geniuses, but I'm no genius, and there's plenty of stuff around my house that, you know what? I wouldn't know that I could sell it for 50 bucks unless I looked it up. So, if
Mhm.
you're like, "Oh, I want to kind of take Hustle Bee's advice here and do that." But you don't know where to start, like literally just start looking up some of the items that you own and see what they're selling for. Like it's
Yep.
funny to see this parallel universe of your stuff on eBay already. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is this exact pair of jeans or whatever, So just like start getting an idea because I bet you'll be really surprised. Like this is one of those areas where our feeling about how much something is probably worth is probably like a really subjective thing. And unless it's something that we recently bought and already looked at comps because we were outsourcing, like you probably don't really know how much things are going for or not. Like you really just have to find out. And so even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to sell any of my stuff, just start looking it up. Because like you said, Ken, if you're like, oh, would I rather have this iPhone 6 or 50 bucks? I'm pretty sure the answer is I'd rather have 50 bucks unless there's some extreme sentimental attachment to that phone.
Right. Yeah.
Get it out of here. It's just junking up your drawer, like you said.
Yeah.
So just start looking, like get curious about it.
Mhm.
I think they also say kind of like every kind of label every dollar or every item, kind of knowing in your own head, like if I were to sell this and this and this, it's here. What can I get for that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And always have that option there that you can kind of fall back on things that aren't normally used, and if they're worth money, then
Yeah.
get you some extra side cash. So
For
Mhm.
sure.
I think it's a great tip. I think right now where we're at, I guess it's interesting time because summer is just going on like full
Mhm.
force and it's super hot, but
Yeah.
yet people have to go back to school very soon. And
Oh,
it
don't
seems like-
remind them. They don't
Yeah, I
want to
know.
think about that.
But it seems like school starts like sooner and sooner.
Yeah. Why?
And especially like teacher stuff, they already go back in like late July,
Oh.
maybe
Oy
even some
vey.
mid-July, right? It's crazy.
Wow.
But usually back to school time means getting a lot of like the clothing, the back to school clothes, back to school backpacks with things like that listed. And people go full force on sourcing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And taking full advantage for eBay and Amazon. And we used to do quite a bit, I think, on backpacks. They used to do really well. They still do well, but I just haven't sourced that in a good while.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if I've
there's
ever
definitely
sold a backpack. That's interesting.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
backpacks always do
I
well.
sell them. I buy them year round. I think that's legit, Glenn. Like, going year round, just keep buying backpacks because I buy them like 10, 15 bucks, and I
Yeah.
think the cheapest backpack's like 35.
Nice.
And there's some super high retail that are out of
That
control
too,
because
yeah.
people want to get fancy with these backpacks.
Oh yeah.
On some
that
of
was
these
like
Under
all
Armours and
the rage. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Project
I remember
Rock,
those.
Nike.
Yeah, I remember those Under Armour Project Rock. That was wild, Glenn. How much
Yeah.
were they?
And I know retail was like 200 on some of them.
Yeah.
And then Ross had some of them for like 39 or 29
Dang.
or yeah, some of these guys they go out of control. But backpacks, easy money there. Shoes always sell well when it's back to school time.
Regular shoes,
yeah,
regular,
just
regular Air
regular-
Maxes.
Yeah, regular Air Maxes. Thinking about everyday basic colors with the black, blues, reds, and white. Nothing going crazy with
Nothing too
out of control.
flashy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then after that, like if you want to really ride the trends, you kind of look to see what's after that and people that start banking it on the Halloween costumes and then, and going forward after that into the fall stuff and then into the Christmas stuff. And so I would just focus, I guess my tip is more on like the trends and looking forward to like this year and what you can already start sourcing and what is already coming up year after year after year.
Alright.
I mean, there's so many people that source for Christmas that hold this stuff all year, but they know that it's a big time money item
Yeah.
when that time of the year comes around. And there's other people too that are, I'm not going to wait that long, or I'm not going to be holding on to things for that long. But if you're in that niche and you know what you're doing, I mean, why not? You hold it on for the whole year. When it's your time to shine, then there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
there's sellers literally that just sell for Q4
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and just do like a semi halftime little break thing throughout the whole year, and then
They're like
Q4's time,
bonbons,
it's ready.
Q1, 2, and 3.
Exactly.
That would be
Cash
the
money.
that would be the ultimate retirement.
Cash
Just
money Q4.
shop all year and then just sell on
Yeah.
Q4.
You don't feel like that ruins your holidays though?
To have to
Oh,
ship.
nah. Well,
Kind of.
I think sometimes the I would say the tradition of holiday is kind of like meh after a while. I go and prefer more intentional holiday spirit moves, right? Like, okay, like just okay, holiday season, right? Like, are we just gonna see each other on Thanksgiving and Christmas, or
Yeah.
what if you just because it's a holiday, what about like taking time off and treating that friend out for dinner? Just random acts. I feel like our random acts of kindness gets boosted up on holiday. So I'm cool about like shipping and all that stuff. So and
Yeah.
plus like the cold, the hot chocolate, the hot coffee, I'm all for that. Shipping doesn't ruin.
Yeah.
Well, Glenn has to attend 50 parties. That's why.
I try not to go as many things as I can. It's like, hey, this is this is Q4. This is selling time.
I know.
Yeah.
No
Oh my
point.
gosh.
You had all year to see me, and you wait till the busiest time to see me.
Exactly. All right, Anna, let's hear it.
That is how it is sometimes. I'm just trying to like land on something because I feel like I have a lot of little, half-baked ideas about it, but I guess like just what I've learned from my sourcing challenge, I would really encourage people to like routinely look at new sources.
Sure.
I think it's really easy. I know because I was like this too, like pretty much the whole time I've lived here. I keep, talking about my new house. Well, I've lived here more than a year now. It's like not that new anymore. And I'm really familiar with the community I'm in because I grew up here. But like there were like plenty of places that, I knew of or drove past a lot or whatever. And I just like literally never took 15 minutes to go and check them out. And I think there's just like different things that hold us back from that. Like even just thinking, well, if it's really good, I only have 15 minutes, so I can't stay and like do the whole thorough,
It's like
scrape through
getting
every single
old
item.
and not wanting to try anything new.
Yes, but honestly, it's like, well, then make the most of those 15 minutes, and then you'll decide if it's worth coming back again later to be more thorough. And sometimes, people just don't like to do new things, right? Sometimes people like their routines, but I think for me, it's mostly been a matter of like bandwidth. Like I just have not had the bandwidth to like take on a new thing, So having my sourcing challenge be like very manageable, but and kind of finite, but also a little bit of a stretch goal is like it's that kind of reasonable, that doable goal, right? So I would just encourage people to try new places, and maybe that's not necessarily trying new inventory. Like maybe you're still just looking for the stuff that's in your niche that you're really comfortable with, but you would be surprised where you might find things. Like you really might be surprised. Even things that are new with tags if you're like a retail art person. So I would just encourage you to do that on purpose and set some kind of a measurable, doable goal about it. Like try one new place a week or one new place a month. Like it doesn't have to be a huge goal. It just has to give you a taste of the value of doing that, So I guess that would probably be mine.
Yeah, I like that. What about what are like preps that you guys do internally? And I'm gonna start sharing this.
Okay.
Right. Leading up to it, I think one of the biggest thing is like, I guess we're starting it now, is doing a major inventory check, like physical check of the products. one of the things that JC start doing is she's going through all of the listings individually and putting in. She bought a green sticker that has OK on it.
I love it.
So a green circle sticker says OK. So it's kind of like her quality control. And she's physically putting it. That's just kind of like how her brain works.
Yeah.
She likes seeing things.
Totally.
And actually adding that on the custom SKU, adding OK there too. So it kind of like matches. So that's kind of like her inventory system to make sure everything is still there. Or if it doesn't have OK in the listings, where is this located?
Yeah.
Is this product still okay?
Yeah.
Because it
Are
might
you
have
okay?
died. It might have lost in the black hole, right?
Yeah.
Or physically, if it doesn't have a sticker, does it still have a listing up?
Right.
So I think that's one of the things that we are actively doing. My part is really trying to make sure the market has changed so much. So I'm literally redoing the comps. While we're doing that, we have opted to do sell similar instead of just fixing it because it became stale listing after
Right.
so much. If you're so high and expensive, nobody really cared for that listing. So we've been just kind of like selectively ending certain listings that we know that were over market.
Gotcha.
And because also, there were like sale seasons like where we added $50 and then ran a $50 sale, kind of like those fake quote unquote sale that we do for our store to have the slash through pricing. So we're trying to do that. And I think, if you're not really out and about on trying to find sourcing or trying to spend money during this, season, one way to actually really get your listings up is to check all your listings. Because I would say, I think all of us would agree that if you run an inventory check, your listing value would go up because you'll find stuff that aren't
Stuff
listed.
that's not listed that you thought was
Yeah.
listed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was kind of like our summer Q4 prep.
Yeah.
What are the tips that you guys can share?
Well, right now, I think I'm just kind of focusing on letting go of that older inventory. Just that, you're saying to check this inventory to see if it's okay. You're okay,
Yeah.
buddy? But
You okay
in this
there?
case, it's more of like, how long has this been listed? How many do I have if I have quantity? And at what point do you have to be like, all right, this has to go? There's, Ken has always brought up a point, like when we did the live shows on Wednesdays, because people would say, hey, like Ross is discounting things down to, $16.99 for shoes, and then it goes down lower sometimes if it gets like an extra discount. But the turnaround is very important. How long do you want to keep something if it's not selling and it's just stuck there,
sell-through.
stuck inventory? And at what point are you happy or content with, hey, let me get my money back, let me move on and use that money for something else to keep this thing going? Because I think for a lot of times we just get stuck on hoping that this is going to go somewhere, and it's like it hasn't. You have to continually add new things to your store. And even for the people that do buy from you constantly, or even have repeat buyers, they see these same stale items over and over again. I mean, what's going to bring them in? Like Ken saying, you were doing like fake sales kind of thing. But if we're not really adding the best new items, they just see the same ones over and over again.
Yeah. I'm doing real sales, not fake sales. No, but I know. I'm just kidding. But I was thinking like, I guess in a way I'm prepping for Q4 by having a radical sale all of July, actually. Just because, I don't know, maybe I don't want to say addicted. We've been around that block before on the Seller Club podcast, but I got like really excited about purging inventory, and like my profit margins are just ridiculous. Like my cost of goods is so freaking low. For the most part, the most valuable thing a lot of my inventory at this point is taking up is space. And so I'm actually running like 50% off on really almost my whole entire store for July, just to see what happens, because typically July is like my slowest month of the year anyway. So I'm like, I kind of feel like I have nothing to lose. But you know, like in terms of getting ready for Q4, there's kind of like a macro version of preparation. But even just thinking about, you know, now I have this regular sourcing habit, and every week when I'm going out sourcing these different places, I prep for that almost in the same way on a micro level, where I want to like check on my storage situation, consolidate bins to create space, you know, have like the right receptacles in my car to like carry items if I'm going to go buy a bunch of stuff at a thrift store or something, or go to the bins or like whatever it may be. And just like kind of have my workspace prepped to bring those items in and get them processed as efficiently as possible. And they already have a place where they're going to go, right? There's already a slot for them where an empty bin will fit, like in my inventory. So, you know, on a larger level, like I was saying, kind of running a big sale like this is just kind of preparing for all of that, because I really don't anticipate slowing down on my sourcing very much unless I'm traveling over the next 2 quarters. So I'm going to need like ample space for the new, better stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's do one more round of basically semi-liquidation and just see how that does. Because it's really interesting. I was thinking the other day about the reasons why I would never do that much of a sale before. Because part of me certainly was just holding on to like, well, I could get more for this thing. I've experienced it over and over and over again that, you know, something ridiculous sells for like a really high amount. That's like, it's unbelievable to me that somebody will pay this for it. But the whole investment at that point is just the time. You're just waiting, right? It's the time and the space. So that was definitely a big thing that held me back. But also, like, there were months where I did an experiment and, you know, had a higher volume of sales, like a big markdown sale or something. And I really didn't net anymore because I had to spend so much more on shipping supplies. But these days, almost all my shipping supplies are completely free. Okay. I sell way fewer items that are really breakable. So I go through way fewer packing peanuts, which is my most expensive shipping supply. So it's like, okay, my math on like the equation of what it's going to cost me, like, yes, it will still cost me more time at my shipping table. You know, and I guess it will still cost me more supplies, but I have a nearly indefinite supply of free supplies at this point. So it's, I mean, what did I say? Indefinite? A nearly, what, is that the right word? What am I saying?
Indefinite?
Yeah, no, like I can't think of the right word. Oh my gosh. You know, like, it never runs out. Like a
Infinite?
endless.
Infinite,
yes,
infinite.
Thank you. Infinite is what I was trying to say. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
What just
Come on,
happened
Ella.
to my brain? Sorry. Apologies for that. Ken's probably not even going to edit it out because he's going to think it's too funny.
Of course not.
No,
Of course not.
This is
No,
real.
that would be the, yeah, this is real. That's gonna
This
be the
is what
tip of
really
this.
happens in my brain on a daily basis. For being like such a lover of vocabulary, it just pains me when that happens. I'm like, oh, come on. Yes,
She's
a
human
nearly
after all.
infinite supply of free shipping supplies. So, you know, the math on that is a little bit different now. Like, in some ways, I can actually afford to do a steeper discount now than I like literally afford it more than I used to be able to. So anyway, that was kind of rambling and my brain decided to misfire there. Sorry about that. But all that to say, like, there are these tasks that we do kind of on the daily, weekly routine of sourcing that I think can make our processes smooth and satisfying and efficient. And doing those processes over and over are what makes the overall process of preparing for like Q4 also happen like simultaneously. So there's usually a couple levels of things going on. And when you have, maybe you do have a slower summer, like a lot of people do, it's a good time to recognize those things and know that the efforts that you're putting into your store right now are still really valuable, and you're going to be really glad in Q4 that you built some good habits now, or that you prepared your workspace now, or that you stocked up on your shipping supplies now. Like, there's so many things you can do to kind of help it not be so crazy, even if you are shipping a ton in Q4, and hopefully we all will be.
Yeah, hopefully
Right.
you can and you will.
Yeah,
You will.
that's right.
So I have I just got this crazy cool idea right now.
Oh.
You both will have 1 minute to answer this.
Oh, no. What if I can't think of the right word?
No.
What will I do?
So, here's the thing. To end this episode, we're in July. Summer just started. Here's the question, right? And the
Don't
ladies
answer
will
all
have...
at once now.
Glenn will have to go first. Glenn will have to go
Okay.
first.
Oh, man.
All right, Glenn will
Okay.
have to go first. All right, here's the question, and this will be same with Anna, and I'll answer it to end this episode as well. You have 1 minute to answer.
Do we have to use the whole minute?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay.
If you're short and concise and you get your point across, get it done.
Okay,
Which is really
my
hard
answer
for
is
me.
no.
So here's the question: Is summer slowdown on eBay real? Yes or no, and why? So Glenn, I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds, right? Is summer slowdown real on eBay? Yes or no, and why? So you can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Are we ready? I am.
Yeah.
I'm
Are you
ready.
ready? All right, you go.
Yeah.
You go. Here you go. I'm gonna start timer now. Here you go.
Okay. Summer slowdown is not real. Let me tell you why. It's not real because if you have the best items, and let me throw this example on there. I don't care if, let's say you have 10,000 listings of all brand new iPads and they're real, they're all gonna sell. So everything will sell if you have great items. And I mean, yes, some other factors come into play where, you know, maybe your photos are really, like if someone had really bad photos, really bad description, you couldn't even find it. That's another thing. But to say that people aren't spending money and that it's slow, I don't think that's true. And I think at one point though, I'd say that I did believe in that. But now I don't. I think I changed.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
So are you saying that those iPads would sell no slower or no more slowly than they would in any other time? They would fly off the
yeah.
shelf with the same velocity in the summer.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Interesting. What if you don't
Go
sell
ahead.
iPads?
Well, that's the thing, though.
You gotta
What do
find
you
the
sell?
iPad in your
You have to
category.
find the
You gotta find
iPad
the
of your
iPad in your category.
of your niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what if I sell all niches?
What if I don't have a niche? I'm going to use my whole minute asking you follow-up questions.
I know.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Glenn, are you done?
I'm done.
I would say very well answered.
I would say too.
I was
However,
like, yep.
Have a different answer.
So here you go. No pressure, Anna.
Yeah.
Your timer starts now.
Okay. So I'm going to begin my answer with the magic words. In my experience, the seller summer slowdown is real because it's two sides of the same coin. I do think that behaviorally buyers are allocating their discretionary spending on things that usually only happen in the summer. Everyone's out of their routine. They're going on vacations. There's stuff going on in life that is like demanding our dollars, you know, and we're all out of our routines, which also affects spending behavior. So I think there's some behavioral psychology stuff going on the buyer side. But in my experience, it's also just as much, if not more, on the seller side, because I also tend to slow down in the summer. I get out of my routines. I travel more. You know, I'm less focused on selling things in my store than I am the rest of the year. So I know, like, for a fact that for me, it is real, and probably at least 50% or 75% of that is because of me. But I also do think that there are some just general behavioral spending things that come into play with buyers in general. But also, like, I don't know to what degree, right? But I do think if you look at my numbers and my behavior and, you know, the buyer behavior you can infer from my sales over the summer every year for 7 years, you will see it slow down. So that's my answer.
Okay. Glenn,
Kenny?
what do you think? What do you think about her answer?
I respect her answer.
He respectfully disagrees with my answer.
Yes, thanks for saying that, Glenn. All right, before we let anybody...
Ken's not going to agree with either one of us.
Ken wants us to go on debate.
Ken is staying in
presidential debate
Switzerland
for next week on
I know.
summer slowdown.
Oh, are we running?
So-
Cool. Let's do it.
Now
We
on
were
your
running.
next topic, but here's my answer to end this podcast, right?
And mine and Glenn's friendship as well.
I believe there is no such thing as summer slowdown. And based on what Anna and Glenn just answered, they just literally solidified this stance that I'm on. Because Glenn says if you have great products, there is no slowdown, right? How do you find great products? By being a great sourcer, by being a great purchaser, by being a great business person, knowing that during summer, these are the items that have sold well. And backed up by Anna's belief as well, I think eBay sellers slow down because they literally slow down themselves. They don't brace for summer. I think and I believe that as a seller, and if you behaviorally think and slow down during summer, you have to beef up your Q1 and Q2.
Yeah.
And I think that the summer happens because we just got off of Q4 and Q1 shopping spree, and Q2 maybe, that a lot of your cream of the crop have sold off. And I think that's been true, especially within our stores, that most of our workout gears, our running gears and running shoes sell so fast in Q1 that I don't have enough to sustain it for summer, which I think I still haven't figured out how to get stocked up that much for it to last. But also what we've done is to brace for summer. For previous years, what I've learned is I like selling hoodies and jackets because they're high retail, and I never really paid attention to shorts. But what sells in summer? Shorts. So I bought so many shorts during wintertime, and now they're selling every day. So is it slowing down? No. Am I working as hard? Not really, because I put in the work 2-3 months ago, and now everything's listed. So I believe that both of your answers just solidified my stance. So thank you.
So what
guys.
you're saying is Glenn and I should run for president together.
Yeah.
On the Seller Club ticket, obviously.
Yeah, that's exactly, because Glenn respects you.
Yes, and I should run with him because he's right.
That's it.
Wait, did you make up a new word? Slummer?
Did I?
No, I thought Ken said slumber.
Oh, I hope he did. Hopefully it wasn't me. I'm
I
like,
wish
I
I
must
did.
be having a
Summer
stroke if I said
slowdown
that.
combo.
That's why I'm gonna. That's why I'm
Slumber.
gonna call those resellers.
Summer slumber.
Those
Slummers.
eBay slummers.
Slummers.
It's like summer. What's the other one? Summer slowdown and summer. There's another term.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start quoting that to like hashtag to like people that say like, she slow down.
You should call them slumpers. It's a summer slump. I've heard people say that too.
Yeah, summer
The
slump.
slump.
I've heard
Yeah.
about that. Slummers, slumpers,
Yeah,
slumpers.
slummers, more like slummers.
Slum-
That's what it is. Yeah, bunch of slumpers. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call them. Well, they always make that clickbait video title. eBay slow down. Like, nah.
Yeah.
You slow down. You slow
Yeah.
down.
Exactly.
I don't mind it because I want to slow down in the summer. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
but-
oh, good. I can
But if
like,
you stock up on
Yeah.
iPads,
I
or
know.
An
shorts.
iPad.
Let me know when you get in contact with the iPad fairy.
Right.
I would
Okay,
love
fine.
to
I don't know
talk
if that was a good example, but it was. I'm
No,
trying
it
to think
was
about
the iPad
fast
of your-
selling.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the iPad of your category.
Right.
That's what
right.
that's what I say. The iPad of your category.
Yeah.
Really big ticket item, but if it's a deal, people pay for it,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
like I think, especially now more than ever, people are more budget conscious. So if
Yeah.
you're providing a higher end product at a lower price, they'll buy it. Like just like my Rode mic, brand new is $239.
Yeah.
They paid $179
great
plus
deal.
tax and shipping. I'm like, I would have paid brand new. But
Yeah.
if you're budget conscious, you'd want to save $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Episode 35. We're still friends. And we all agree that summer slowdown is not real. Based on different all scenarios.
Unless you want it to be real,
Yeah.
Yeah.
by all means, go ahead and slow down with it.
Yeah. And at that point, you're not an eBay seller. You're a eBay slower.
Oh yeah,
Slummer.
I'm Team Slummer. Thanks.
Team
Yeah.
Slummer.
Stop. All right, guys. That is episode 35. We will see you on the next one. Enjoy your slumber. Enjoy your summer.
Please enjoy your summer. Don't forget to
All
enjoy
right,
your summer.
peace.
See ya.
Peace. Bye.